decided to make a video since it's been at least 2 days since I made a video. So yeah. So today is, according to my clock, it is 7:51 at night. It's August the 5th, 2016. And it's 76 degrees. We've had the AC on. So today's a Friday, tomorrow's a Saturday. Saturdays, according to my diary, I volunteer at the local library used bookstore from 10 to 1. I mentioned that last week when I think it was last week or a week before, I checked out of the library this novel by Peter Rushforth, Pinkerton's Sister. And I was reading it and I really enjoyed it, and I ordered myself a used copy from Amazon, and I've been reading that. I've been reading this novel for the last 3 days in the afternoons. So tomorrow I'll return the library copy because I have my own paperback copy. I'm really enjoying this novel. I plan to get his other novel called Dead Language. Just after he wrote the Dead Language, this Peter Rushforth, he died unexpectedly of I think a heart attack. But I'm really enjoying that. Today I finished Volume 1 of More Reflections on the Book of Job by Gregory the Great. And I had already started Volume 2, Books 6 through 10 of Moral Reflections on the Book of Job by Gregory the Great. So this is what I read in the mornings and I usually read these kinds of books in the afternoons, in the evening hours. I really haven't been reading anything else, and I did read this morning once again The Scattered Lantern, Rediscovering a Felt Presence of God by Ronald Rosheiser. But I've mainly been reading this in the mornings. I don't know what else I've been reading. Let's see here. I mentioned I did a video on the 1st of August. I've been reading More Reflections on the Book of Job. Yeah, not much else besides Pinkerton's Sister. Our second son has been visiting us, him and his wife, and so it's been kind of busy around the house, and Carol's been off from work, and I get out of my rhythm about reading. So I was mentioning Gregory the Great, and I wanted to mention that if you want to read more about Gregory the Great, I have in my study here upstairs Dictionary of Major Biblical Interpreters, edited by Donald K. McGinn. There is an article in here on Gregory the Great that you can read about him. See right here, he was born in 540 and he died in 604. Gregory, commonly regarded as one of the greatest popes and the last of the 4 principal fathers of the Western Church, following Ambrose, Jerome, and Augustine by some 2 centuries, and lived during difficult times. The infrastructure that had sustained vigorous intellectual and spiritual life in Italy during the early part of the 6th century had collapsed, and much of the land had fallen under the power of the hostile invading group, the Germanic Lombards. In the midst of these difficulties, Gregory produced some of the most influential commentaries ever written on the Bible, and particularly on Job and parts of Ezekiel. His approach, strongly allegorical and moralizing, found great favor, and for something like a millennium, his influence on biblical interpretation in the West was second only to that of Augustine. His way of reading the Bible remains of great interest today. So for 1,000 years, Gregory the Great's approach to interpreting the Bible was very strong within the Christian church. And so I've been really enjoying reading Gregory the Great, more reflections in the book of Job. And also I was thinking about Gregory the Great. When I was in seminary, I bought this book from a book dealer in England, in London, and it's called Western Mysticism, Teachings of St. Augustine, Gregory, and Bernard of Clairvaux on Contemplation and the Contemplative Life by Dom Covert Butler. There's a chapter in here, Contemplation and Gregory the Great. Goes into his analysis of Gregory the Great's teaching on contemplation. Also, one of my favorite series is this series. It's the history. It's called The Presence of God, the history of Western Christian mysticism by Bernard McGinn. This is a projected 7 volumes. Yeah, I think so, 7. I mean, I just got an article. Yeah, it says here, he's now working on the 6th volume. Maybe I have 4. I don't have volume 5, which is called The Varieties of Vernacular Mysticism. I do have, this is volume 2, The Growth of Mysticism, Gregory the Great to the 12th century. The first volume is on origins to the 5th century, the foundations of mysticism. This is volume 1. In volume 3 of The Presence of God, the history of Western Christian mysticism, the flowering of mysticism, men and women, new mysticism from 1200 to 1350 by Bernard McGinn. And then I have the 4th volume of the history of Western Christian mysticism, the presence of God, the harvest of mysticism in medieval Germany by Bernard McGinn. Like in this volume, he does Meiser Eckhart, he does John Tollard, he does Nicholas of Cusa, and he does Albert the Great and Thomas Aquinas. McGinn just put out a biography of Thomas Thomas Aquinas. So if you want to read about Gregory the Great, about his approach to the Christian spirituality, there's a chapter in here, Gregory the Great, Contemplative in Action. This is a good series. I got these in the 90s, and I've read these. And the 5th volume came out in 2012. The Varieties of Vernacular Mysticism. And the reason why I haven't bought it is I keep waiting for it to come out in paperback. It's only in hardback right now. But I might give in. I haven't been really in the mood to read History of Christian Mysticism. But if I do get in the mood, I'll probably order it and complete my set. So that's what I've been reading. That's where my mind's at. And tomorrow's a Saturday. I don't know what free book I'll get at the Book Nook tomorrow. I have nothing laid aside. Next week, Friday, we're going to a giant used book sale in South Haven, Michigan. So I'm excited about that. And then the end of the month here in August, I go to another giant used book sale. So there's books. So I'm hoping you had a good week and that you'll have a good weekend. Until next time, bye.